What's up, everybody? This is the Tied to the Land podcast, where we believe that everybody is tied to the land in some way, shape, or form. On this podcast, we'll explore the intimate connection that people feel with the land beneath their feet, while telling the stories of folks whose lives have been impacted by their roots to the rural lifestyle. This podcast is brought to you by Arrowhead Land Company, where their mission is to create, inspire, or advance a connection to the land in every person throughout the world. What's going on, guys? Bringing you another episode of Tied to the Land today, and we've got Cal Hardie on for the second time. My name is Andrew Schultz, and I am pumped to be talking with you, Cal. How's it going, brother?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm ready for summer to be over and fall to get here.
You and me both. I'm tired of feeling like I just took a shower and put my clothes on.
Yeah, no doubt. Do you carry multiple changes of clothes in the truck when you're out and about?
Always.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I learned early on in sales, I had a professional outfit that I was wearing and was going to look at a farm and then had an appointment after that. I had a change of clothes, but not a professional change of clothes. And so after I sweat through my polo shirt, I changed into this green, light green T-shirt that was still logo wear, but the seller thought I was unprofessional because of how I was dressed.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was like, man, dude,
I know.
I'm a sweaty guy. Anyway, well, I know it's been a hot summer, and so we'll carry some of that heat with us into this podcast. Get this thing rolling.
Let's do it.
So, tell us about what you got going on lately. How's business? How's life? Ashley's laughing at me. She doesn't like the small talk. I'm going like more Joe Rogan style with this.
Okay.
She's laughing because I'm hitting the table. All right. Sorry to everybody listening.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm fired up this morning.
No, things are good. Business is picking up now. It was a weird lull in the middle of spring and summer for me. I guess it's people on vacation or, just the change in the market with the interest rates and whatnot. But it's starting to pick back up. Phones ringing that time of year. And then I think there's still some people holding on, waiting for interest rates to drop too.
Yeah, no doubt. Man, I'm of the opinion, if you're looking to move and shake and you can afford to do it right now, I mean, if you really stop and think about it, there's only two options. One is that interest rates will continue to go up, which you'll be thankful that you bought now, or they eventually come back down and you just refinance and take advantage of the lower rate at that time. So
that's kind of what I'm saying too, in my opinion. Like if somebody's looking to buy something right now, you have more negotiating power as a buyer than you have in recent years. So you can ask for more, you can negotiate on the price a little bit more, get seller concessions. It's a buyer's market. They can be picky right now.
Yeah, 100%, man. So you are married since you were last on this podcast. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
I know it's been a little bit, but how's the married life treating you?
It's been great. I couldn't ask for anything better. Autumn, she's fantastic. She loves a lot of the same things that I do, and she's making this house a home for sure.
Yeah, and y'all just moved into that house not too long ago, right? You were renovating a place, and y'all didn't kill each other.
Yeah, it was actually pretty easy. She has really, really good taste, so I just let her run with it.
Well, clearly she has really, really good taste.
I'm probably the most questionable decision in her life.
Gotcha. Well, I don't know, man. She seems pretty cool, and I'm happy for you. That's really great. Tell everybody, if you don't mind, about what y'all did, where you went. You got married out west, and that's a story in and of itself. So
yeah. So we both love the snow and the cold weather, and we went out to Jackson Hole and got married in the Tetons. I mean, literally in the national park. It was awesome. It was 2 to 3 foot of snow, 14 degrees. We enjoyed it thoroughly and made a basically did the wedding and the honeymoon all in one.
That's awesome. Yeah, we'll have to remember, if you're cool with it, we'll throw a picture of that up, like maybe lay it over the
Yeah,
podcast,
we can do
because
that.
they were gorgeous photos. It looked
They did. They
awesome.
came out awesome.
Yeah, I bet it was freezing cold, but it was.
It was.
Yeah.
The first day we got there, it was 27 below.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a
And we went
tidbit,
on
Nippy.
100-mile round trip snowmobile ride through Yellowstone.
Dang, dude.
Yeah. It was awesome, but it was cold.
I bet it was awesome. Yeah, I could definitely see that being incredible. How was it just like being the two of you? So, I mean, Julia and I, we, not to make this about ourselves, but like we often talk about maybe we would have done our wedding a little bit differently. Like you have the big party, the big shebang, you know, you're trying to just keep your head above water the whole time, talking to everyone. And like before you know it, it's over. And we oftentimes talk that like maybe we would have done something similar to what you guys did if we could do it all over again. It's like, how was it just getting to spend that time together and just be present with one another?
It was very, it was an intimate situation. Just me being me and her, and it was fantastic. And probably wouldn't do it a different way if I could do it 100 times over. Uh, it was more our style. We just got to go and handle our business and do our thing at our speed.
Yeah, that's awesome. Right on, man. I love that. Fall's coming up. We were talking about it. You're usually a world traveler here any day now, and it's hard to pin you down between now and the end of the year. So,
Yeah.
what have you got on the horizon here? What are you going to be hunting?
One of my buddies yesterday. I'm hunting his dove field, and he's got 400 to 500 birds on it basically every day right now.
No
So that'll
kidding.
be 2 weeks, I think, and then we're gonna leave and boogie out to Colorado and go grouse hunt for a week. Get some stuff ready for all of my grandpa and them to come out there and elk hunt at their place. Then I'm going to Canada elk hunting at the end of October, and then going back to Colorado in November for deer and elk.
That's awesome. And if I know you, like one or two more things are going to be added in there along the way somewhere. Like,
Well, you got to think that's one in September, one in October, one in November. Then you have December, January, February.
yeah, those are the sure
I'm leaving them
plans.
open.
Yeah, you leave 2 or 3 weeks out of each month open just in case something comes up. You know.
That's right. Something that you can't pass up. Like somebody calls you and says, "Hey, the birds are here right now."
Yeah, gotta
Okay.
go. Right on. Tell us about Grandpa's Ranch. I know that's a special place, and if you want to, you can go into just the relationship you have with your grandpa. I think maybe even you talked about it on the last podcast a little bit. So, but more specifically, like the ranch and what it means to you, and how you're trying to carry on your grandpa's legacy. For those who maybe didn't listen to the first podcast.
Yeah. So my grandpa's got a pretty big spread out there now. He's got almost 7,000 acres and a mile of river frontage on the Yampa River in northwest Colorado. The main portion of that, he's the third person to own it since it was homesteaded. He started going out there. He always tells the story the year that they were finishing the arch in St. Louis. They went out there and hunted, and I think that was like 64, 63 or 64. And the place that they went and hunted the very first time is the place that he owns now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's really, really cool. And they named the ranch after my mom who passed away, his daughter. And so it just holds a special place. We've got so many memories and pictures and stuff from out there from over the years. and just a lot of relationships. And it's a really, really cool place.
Yeah. Was it 7,000 acres when he bought it, or has he added on to it over time?
He's added on to it over time, but it's just shy of 7,000 acres privately owned. That's not including he's got some BLM stuff and state land leased and landlocked in his place. So it totals, like, with the BLM stuff that he could hunt that adjoins him, it totals up to about 14,000.
Mm, that's awesome. That's really
Yeah.
cool. So tell everybody a little bit about this grandpa's history. I'm sure naturally, if you're listening to this, I'd be wondering, like, wonder what grandpa did. How did he have the foresight to be able to go buy a ranch like that and such a beautiful place, and what put him in that position? Like, I guess in layman's terms, like, how did grandpa make his money? Like, how did he do so well for himself?
He started as he still lives in the same town that he was born in. He lives probably 2 miles from where he was born. Um, but his family owned a hardware store, which we still own today. They opened it in 1929. I was the fifth generation to work at the store. Um, but he started there. There was a grocery store, turned into a hardware store. They sold guns and firearms, work boots, work clothes. And then he got into the banking industry, um, worked in banks, running banks, and then bought a few, sold a few. And in that meantime, he's accumulated rental properties, and then he and probably 5 or 6 other people, they started a chain of low income extended stay hotels that were around Metro Atlanta. And he ran them for 2 decades and then sold them out. And all the while, he made a lot of money in the banking industry. They would buy some banks that were in trouble, bring them up a couple tiers, and then turn around and sell them. And I think he's done that probably 5 or 6 times at this point.
Man, that's so cool. So, I mean, obviously the guy's a wealth of knowledge from a business perspective. I've I've got some family members who've been successful like that, but it's hard to often get family to share like their business knowledge or information with you. So I'm curious, like, do you guys have high level business conversations, or is it more like, "Hey, Grandpa, you want to go squirrel hunting today?" Or like,
It's definitely some high level business stuff because when I got out of college, I went to work for him managing rental properties, and basically I was running the store at that time. But he's kind of there'll be days where he'll dive off into the depths and in the specifics of the banking industry and these other things. But there's also days where he just like speaks in riddles. He's like the wise old owl, Winnie the Pooh.
yeah.
He won't give you a straight answer. You have to interpret it for yourself.
I love that. It's like a parable from Jesus in the
It,
Bible.
it, it is. It
Yeah.
really, and he is such a godly man. He's been in the same Sunday school class since he was a teenager, and I think there's only 2 or 3 guys that are left because he's 86 years old, and I mean goes to church twice a week, every week, and just he's just a good human.
Yeah. That's awesome. I think just that generation, I don't know. I feel like our generation's bringing back that type of mentality of like, be a good human, work hard, do the right thing. Like, in your opinion, which generation's the most comparable to grandpa's? Who?
Definitely his, and then my parents. I mean, that next generation, and it slowly declines off, in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion. There are a lot of people in our realm that you can see that, but I think as a whole, our grandparents, like people that are born in the 30s, 40s, 50s, are the last ones that are like, get up, put my clothes on, go to work, do what I'm supposed to, don't call out, don't no show. The dependable, just grit of the U.S.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I was trying to get some hot takes there as to like who's the superior generations, but you're not taking the bait.
You're not going to bait me into that one.
Okay, well, it was worth a try.
It was.
Um, so, man, I wanna get into something kind of heavy here. But I asked your permission prior to this podcast, and so I appreciate you coming on here. But we are coming up on, this will be 2 years this fall, right? Since the passing of your brother in what was a hunting tragedy, and I remember that period like it was yesterday. I remember that text from you. I remember first call with you. Man, you said that you would get emotional. I think I'm going to be the one that's emotional thinking about this. I've watched you do amazing things since then, despite how hard it was, and like going through something like that is just unfathomable for most people. So I want to talk about like your experience getting through tragedy, getting through loss, what it was like coming out the other end of that, the other side of that, and like how you were able to honor your brother and the legacy that he left during his short time on this earth with us. How you've been able to take what he started and just honor him and create something special out of it. So what was it like, number one, getting through that? Like, and think about it from the perspective of other people who might be listening, Cal, who have gone through tragedy or heartache. And then we can get into like the hunting stuff as we go, but like, what was it like for you now looking back on it, coming up on 2 years removed from it, but what was it like for you when you were going through that originally?
Even though it's been 2 years, there has not been a single day that I haven't thought about him. And like it still affects me. I don't know if I'm through it. I don't know if I'll ever be through it.
Yeah.
I'm 11 years older than he is, and in a lot of ways, I felt like he was my own. He wasn't just my brother, it was like he was my child. Um, we had done a lot of stuff together. I've been so fortunate to travel and hunt and do a lot of things with him, and I mean, he was my spirit animal. He was always cutting up, making light of the situations, but he was one of the hardest workers and one of the toughest people that I know. But I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to handle it. And what we've done with the foundation is the only way that I knew how to do right by him. I mean, you could shell up and let the tragedy run your life forever, but that's not what he would have wanted for us. And so that's what I thought was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And I'm still figuring it out one day at a time.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I can't imagine. Was it like knowing that he wouldn't have wanted you to be down and stay down and, turn to other vices or just crawl into a hole, so to speak? Like, was that what gave you the strength, or like what gave you the strength to just kind of take it one more day at a time?
Just the community that we're in and our family has supported us to no end. I mean, they have put their arms around us, loved us, hugged on us, taken care of us. But at the same time, he don't want us to be up here boo-hooing and being sad about all that. He wants us to, just go on about our lives and do the things that we're meant to do and what we're supposed to do.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So you alluded to it already, and I see you've got the hat on there. You created the Brooks Hardie Foundation. Tell us about what that is, obviously why you did it, not just to honor him, but the purpose of it. Give us whatever you can.
Yeah. So we immediately started the foundation afterwards. I didn't know it was just a way for the people that wanted to help and wanted to give, they could give. And it was also a way to keep his name alive and to keep his legacy alive. We didn't know exactly what we were going to do, but we wanted to raise some money to help spread waterfowl safety for hunters or water safety for hunters, and just spread that message, wear life jackets, however we can. If we could keep another family from going through what we went through, that was the main goal of the foundation, while also keeping his name alive.
Yeah. No, that I think that's amazing, and I'm gonna ask you some tough things here. Okay, so just bear with me. Um, you were talking about waterfowl safety, and that's really what the foundation's geared towards. And so, we're coming up on hunting season here pretty quick for a lot of people. It'll be here before we know it, and it won't be long. People will be out in boats, out around the water, chasing after birds. So, um, can you? I think it's important to talk about this because nobody goes out for a hunt that morning expecting to lose their life, right? Like nobody has that thought. Um, and it can happen very easily. Like every year, it happens all across the country, probably all across the world. So, can you tell us a little bit about like what happened? I know you weren't there, but you've heard the story, and it's not that I want you to have to relive that, but I want people listening to understand like how easily an accident can happen. You know what I mean? And to be thinking about these things.
So that's exactly what it was. It was a freak accident, and what had happened, what he was doing, he wasn't being unsafe or reckless. We had hunted this place multiple times over. It was one of the first places that I ever hunted when I was younger. But it's a big mud flat that's probably 6-8 inches of water. And it's about the size of 2 football fields, and it's got deep channels on both sides. So they had pulled out in the big boat, thrown out all their decoys and stuff, and there's an old makeshift blind there, and they put up some camo fabric, and they were in that old blind, put out all the decoys, and then he takes the big boat, parks it on the bank in one of the coves, and he's got a kayak and kayaks back across, puts the kayak in the blind, and then they just hunt. Well, at some point during the hunt, they had shot a few birds, and then they had some birds that were standing off at another cove, and he decides that he's going to get in this kayak and paddle over there and either try to jump them up off the water, sneak up on them and shoot them. But at some point during that, while he was on that kayak, he lost his balance and then went in the water. And now he's got on his waders. He's got on a jacket over his waders, and he was trying to swim to get back to the mud flat, and just it was cold that morning. It was 20 something degrees. He just basically give out. He had gotten out of his jacket, he had gotten out of his waders, and was just physically exhausted and couldn't swim anymore. And he ended up drowning in about 7 foot of water.
Mm. Man, I'm so sorry.
It's
Sorry.
hard to think about, man.
Yeah.
It was a freak deal. It wasn't being dangerous. It was just if he just had on a life jacket, it probably could have helped.
Yeah.
I wasn't there. Being big brother, I wear that because I wasn't there to protect him, and you know what that's like.
Yeah. That's why I started getting emotional there, because what I was gonna say is that could have just as easily been me in your shoes. I remember the first thing I thought when you told me that was when I received that text from you. My brother Matt was out on a river on a boat hunting,
Yep.
and I was like, it just hit me really hard, because I was like, man, that could have just as easily been us in that
Yep.
situation this morning, or the hundreds, if not thousands, of other brother combos that are out there doing their thing during the waterfowl season, And so it's just it, freak accidents happen, and unless you're intentionally thinking about safety, it could be any of us. And
It's definitely changed the way that we hunt. It's life jackets. In any time that you're in any type of vessel on the water, no matter what, even if you're just going to move the decoys, if somebody goes into the water, we have a spotter that's watching them. We carry throw bags for rescue that'll, if somebody gets in a bind, we can throw them. It's got a rope on it. They can catch this bag and we can pull them in. Um, it's just, it has changed the way we hunt, especially in our circle. And I know that it has reached more people than I could have imagined and hoped for.
yeah, yeah, and that's the stuff that we need to continue to call attention to as hunters. There's so much glorification on social media of the
Pile picks,
pile picks and swagger and
the macho.
like, yeah, man, and like that's all cool and fun, and I get it. Like, it is a great time to go out with your buddies and do that stuff, but like, what if we put the same energy towards educating people on how to do that stuff except be safer?
Correct.
And that's what I love about the foundation you've created, is that's really your guys' goal and mission to raise awareness for that. So I want to ask about, because I learned something as a result of this tragedy. I remember you telling me like he was so strong that like he was able to get his waders off, which, if I had to guess, I'm assuming he did to be able to swim more easily. But
Yep.
what I didn't learn, and I feel like it's worth talking about, is most waders, I think maybe even all waders, I don't know, you would know more about this than me, but they're designed to where you can actually float for a period of time in your waders, depending on how you position your
Correct.
body and what you're doing once you get into the water. So I think a lot of people are unaware of that. I know I was. Like, if something happened to me, or if I was in a similar situation, my first thought would be, don't let my waders fill up. And I think
Yes.
I've heard a lot of people talk about that. So tell us about waders and what to do. Like, if you find yourself in that situation where you've gone overboard, or you've tripped and you fell, and now you're in a deep hole, what do you do?
I think I'm losing you.
Oh, you got me now?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. Did you hear that whole question?
Tell you about waders, like how they're designed, what you're supposed to do in these certain situations.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Um, so most waders now in today's market, it's a breathable wader. So the upper, everything above the boot is just like a thin material that has no buoyancy whatsoever. It is just there to protect you from the water, and your boots typically have a neoprene or some type of rubber neck that they will float to the surface. And if you can somehow keep your head up, i.e., a PFD, something around your neck that can keep your head up, you can float. Your feet will come to the surface, and your head can float with that PFD. Um, but it's like getting in the water with a trash bag on. It suctions to you, and you can't get it off. Whereas some of the older, like the old neoprene, you can't move it on there as much, but there's a buoyancy factor because it's the same material as those rescue suits that were on like the deadliest catch boats, those big boats, those crab boats. Um, but if you can keep your head above the water without your feet dunking your head in, your feet will float in these waders that are on the market today.
Yeah. So when I dove off and started doing some research and started watching some videos and, guys jumping into pools to show this, and, we would not recommend that to anybody.
Yes.
But it kind of looked almost as if like you kind of lean back a little bit, and let your feet, like you were saying, let your legs kind of come up. And so almost like you're just like sitting in a recliner, so to speak,
Yep.
is what it looked like. So super interesting. I thought it was worth calling attention to, because I think that's one of the most misunderstood things of the waterfowl world is.
Yeah. Well, and that's all my buddies have got these duck boats and stuff that they run the rivers and stuff with, and I've been on their rear ends. Put a life jacket on. Wear your kill switches. There is no reason not to have one and not to put one on. And if you don't have one, you can reach out to us at the foundation and we will supply you one.
Okay, really? So
Yes.
what's the process like for that? How can they get a hold of you? Or
Anybody can reach out. The Brooks Hardie Foundation, all of our contact information. We have our website. We're on Facebook and Instagram. You can reach out to us. And I mean, last year, I think we supplied over 50 life jackets to people across the area. And that's the goal. That's what we want to promote safety. We want people to be aware and to think about it every time that they go into the woods or the water or anything. And we want to help those people that can't. These life jackets they're not cheap. I mean, these ones that we've been buying, they're self-inflating in case you're incapacitated. It has a manual pull. They're reusable, rechargeable. They're really thin. When we went to Alaska last year, I wore mine the entire time I was hunting. Never took it off. I could shoulder my guns, shoot. Um, they're really, really nice. And if we can just get people to think about it and get people to wear them, that is a huge win. If you're just thinking about it, if it's in the front of your mind every time that you go out, it should be.
yeah, yeah, that's awesome. I love that you guys are doing that, and I really appreciate what you're doing to move safety to people's the forefront of their minds as they head into hunting season. I'm curious, what was it like that first hunt for you? I'm sure you probably remember it, but what was it like the first hunt for you after losing Brooks?
It was tough. I took, um, I don't know if I took or if they took me, but it was three of my brother's best friends and me, and we went on a trip, and it was just that morning. It was cold, it was clear, and the birds put on an absolute show before daylight. And I mean, it still affects me. Um, and it's still not the same. He was always my hunting partner. He was always my buddy. It's who I went with. If I was hunting and I was killing, I was calling him, and vice versa. He would call me. I mean, the day of the accident, I had FaceTimed him 10, 15 minutes before the accident happened, and I just got to talk to him one last time and got to see him smile and cut up, and he was joking and just being himself. And you never think that's the last thing or the last time you're going to see him. I mean, he was doing the same thing that we always did. Uh, but it's still hard. I mean, that first time we went, we wore their ass out. We did. We smoked him, but it was just like he was supposed to be there. He was supposed to be with us and be there with us, and he ain't there. It's a harsh reality that you have to deal with.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I just can't imagine, and again, I appreciate you being willing to dive into some of this
Yeah.
because I know it's hard, but I just couldn't help but to think like it probably doesn't ever get any easier, and like you took something that you love so much, you know, which is waterfowl hunting, and now I would say there's definitely not a hunt that passes by that you're not thinking about him, you know? And so I was curious, again, just tying it back to dealing with loss and overcoming that and, you know, you honoring him. I was just wondering about some of the thoughts that you wrestle with when you head out to the duck blind.
It's definitely a sombering thought. Um, I mean, like this necklace that I wear, this was his cross. This was the one that he wore all the time, so I wear it every day. And there's not a morning that when we're going out that I don't think about it, especially in the places that we had all hunted together. You know, I can still picture him and see him standing there hunting and some of the things that he said and did. And personally, I hope they never go away because I don't want to forget.
Yeah. Have there been any instances or experience where you were just convicted that he was right there with you since his passing, like
Yeah.
that you would be willing to share?
Yeah. You know, after it happened in December, and it just kind of took the wind out of my sails for the rest of, season and just in life in general for a little while. But me and him had always talked about going and shooting a turkey grand slam. And I'd only shot one turkey in my entire life to that point, and he had never shot one. I mean, I have pictures of him with decoys and all kinds of stuff. I mean, he set up a turkey spread like it's a duck spread. And I had the opportunity to go to Florida that following spring, and I shot an Osceola, and I said, if we're gonna do it, now's the time to go. And some of the things that happened, some of the mishaps, like shoots and miss, gun not working. Uh, I had broken my foot in the middle of this quest for this grand slam, and I know he was laughing at me. There was no doubt in my mind that he was there with me and cutting up and laughing and making fun of me because he knew I didn't know what I was doing, and I was just figuring it out on my phone.
Yeah. So did you get the grand slam?
I did. We shot a single season slam. We went Florida, Georgia, Texas, and Montana,
Cool.
and got them all done. And just like the overwhelming feeling when you completed it was extremely, extremely emotional.
Yeah, I imagine so. So for everybody listening that doesn't know what a grand slam is for turkeys, what is it?
So there's 4 subspecies in North America that you can hunt. Well, there's actually 5. There's Goulds, but to shoot all 4 is considered a grand slam: an Osceola, an Eastern, a Rio, and a Merriam.
Nice. Which bird was your favorite to hunt or is your favorite to hunt?
I love hard goblin Easterns, but I love the scenery and hunting those Merriams in the mountains.
Yeah. So
That's my favorite. I would go out there and out west and hunt Merriams 10 times over.
yeah, awesome. That's cool, man. Um, so I guess to kind of sum up everything that we've been talking about, and we can push past that. What would you say to someone right now who's going through loss or heartache, or just experienced a tragedy, like what would be your words of wisdom to them in the midst of what they're going through right now?
You just got to take it one day at a time. And just one foot in front of the other. You're going to get knocked back on your rear multiple times. And it may not go away. It may not go away ever, but you have to make the best of it. And my thing is just do right by them. Do what they would want you to do, and just keep pushing. Don't give up. You can't quit, because that means you're letting the devil win. You're letting this tragedy, you're letting the loss, you're letting whatever it take over your life and run your life. You can't do that. If you need a day, to just deal with it and have a bad day, it's gonna happen. You're gonna have more bad days than good ones sometimes. But you just gotta keep going. You can't quit.
Yeah, man. You mentioned don't let the devil creep in. Did you feel like there was times where he was trying to do just that, and you had to turn to the Lord and lean on Him for strength? I mean, do you have any particular moments where you can remember the devil trying to take over?
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I went on a drinking bender after it was over. I mean, probably drinking every day. I didn't know what to do. I was just trying to numb the pain. But at some point, you just got to step out of it and get over it and deal with it.
How did you do that? Were you able to do that on your own, or like how did you do that?
Just support from everybody. People calling you on your BS. But you just have to get up and do it and handle it and deal with it yourself. Because at the end of the day, the support helps. But if you don't want to fix it and you don't want to do it yourself, then it's not going to get any better.
Yeah, no doubt.
And me personally, I just tried to stay busy. The more I could do and the more that I was doing stuff, the more my mind would be off of it.
Yeah. No, that's good stuff, man. And you met Autumn, or maybe you knew her before. I don't remember exactly, but like you and Autumn started seeing each other pretty recent after Brooks passed, if I remember correctly. Is that right?
And we had actually right before.
Right before. Okay.
Yeah. She'd only met him one time, and I'll tell you, without her support, there was a lot of nights that I wasn't worth being around. But she was always there, put her arm around me, care about me, and love on me, and tell me that everything's gonna be okay. And there was nights that she just let me be, just was there for me if I needed it. And I couldn't have been blessed with somebody better at that time.
Yeah, man. She's a great person, and I'm so thankful that you had her to lean on during that time. And I imagine if y'all can get through that, you can get through anything together.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I hope there ain't nothing much worse.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you for sharing that story, and just some of the dark parts and the gloomy parts. And I think it's been on my heart to have this conversation with you for a while. Honestly, I was working on building up the courage to ask you, because I didn't want you to have to relive all this. But man, my hope is that this podcast, we can put it out there, and if it saves even one life this fall, it was worth both of us sitting here fighting back tears for an hour. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And that's what we're trying to do with the foundation. We're just trying to spotlight safety and just try to make people more mindful. It's easy to put it on the back burner. It's easy to just go through and not think about it. But if we can shine the light on it and make people think about it, that's what we would like to do. that we're winning if we're doing that.
Man, that's great. I love that. And so I think if you're cool with it, the last thing I'd like to get into here is I know it was not easy starting a nonprofit and all the hoops that you have to jump through for that. And, you guys put on some awesome banquets and you do a lot of things. But can you speak to like the formal side or the business side of starting a nonprofit? So say somebody's in your situation and they're like, man, I love what Cal did with the Brooks Hardie Foundation. I'd love to do something similar. Can you take us through what that process was like and what you've learned along the way as it relates to creating a nonprofit?
I'm still learning. We're still figuring it out, but we sat down with some folks that had experience forming nonprofits and running nonprofits. It's simply, I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. Forming a business legally, with a lawyer, reporting it with the Secretary of State, and then filing for your 501c3 status that you're going to be a nonprofit, and that this is a charitable organization, and then just keeping up with receipts and donation receipts and expenses and whatnot, uh, the best of our abilities, and and just try to abide by the law, because you have to give a certain amount back based on what you bring in, and we're fortunate to have accountants and lawyers that help us navigate all of that.
Yeah. So is that like a percentage, or what's the
It
the
depends.
parameters around that?
It depends. It depends on if you're doing, like online sales and selling product, if it's donation, straight donation, but you're supposed to give a percentage back of what you bring in every year.
Gotcha.
And I don't know the exact percentage. That's why I lean on the accountants and the lawyers. I let them tell me.
Yeah. And so I'm assuming giving back is, like one
I mean,
example would
that's
be what you were
yeah,
talking about earlier with the life vests and
yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, that's the primary purpose of this. We're not just trying to take in money and take in money and take in money. We want to give back, and we've bought these life jackets. We've donated to families who have lost loved ones through water accidents. We've donated to my brother's schools where he went to school. Um, we're paying for a lady to go through ISR swim certification to give swimming lessons to young kids. There's not an ISR lady in our area, and so we're paying for her to get certified. Things of that nature. Anything that we can shine light on water safety, that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah. That's awesome. No, I think it's important to talk about because like some nonprofits get a bad rap. Like, I feel like people create them for the wrong reasons sometimes. And I wanted you to elaborate that like you guys are giving back. You just talked about all the things you're doing. So it's a cause worth jumping on board with, in my opinion. And um, I'm glad that you're getting to talk about it a little bit.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you for giving me the platform too. This is it's it's not easy to talk about, but it's a good cause, and we're trying to promote it in the right way and do the right things, and do right by my brother.
Yeah. I'm I just completely lost my train of thought.
Have
Um oh, I know what I was going to ask you. Is there anybody in particular that you'd like to give a shout out to or to thank like at any point along this journey, whether it's just helping you get through everything, helping you start the nonprofit, like who are the people that jump out in your mind?
um obviously my wife. She's been here, and she's my fallback a lot of days. Our family, they rallied around us, and all of our friends, our community, the school, um, high school and college. They've all just gone above and beyond. to help us in any way possible. City officials, I mean, the list goes on and on and on, and none of it's possible without their support.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, let's wrap this thing up. Cal, this is the Tied to the Land podcast, brother. How are you tied to the land? What makes you tied to the land?
Well, my brother makes me tied to the land, and my love for the outdoors and just being out and spending that time for peace makes me tied to the land.
Peace. Man, there's so much to that, the peace that comes from it. And I'm not going to get into it on this podcast, but I just took a trip that had a lot to do with peace and faith and getting that or deriving that through time spent on the land. And so that was a good segue. I might talk about my trip here on the next episode. But Cal, thank you so much for your time, man. Thank you for being vulnerable and just sharing your story, and more importantly, your brother's story and the legacy that he created that is still living on through the Brooks Hardie Foundation. And one more time, if somebody wants to donate, if somebody wants to get involved, if somebody needs assistance from, some of the gifts that y'all give out, how can people get in touch with you? How can they get in touch with the Brooks Hardie Foundation?
So we have our website. It's thebrookshartiefoundation.com, and that's HARDIE. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. My phone number is probably linked to most of this. If you want to get a hold of us, our emails are on the website. We have some merchandise that helps support, like these hats that help support and raise money. But if you want to be involved, or if you need help, or if you want to get more information, don't hesitate to reach out at any of those platforms.
Okay, cool. And we'll put a link to it in the caption of wherever this podcast gets posted so that people can easily get to it.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, brother. Have a good day.
You
This
too.
is the Tied to the Land podcast. I'm Andrew Schultz, and this is Cal Hardie. Cal, love you, man. Thank you for your time, and we'll see you guys next time.
Sounds good, buddy. Love you too.